We're at 7:01, uh, and it looks like we have 14 guests so far, and two people are in the waiting room. I guess courtesy dictates that I give them a moment.
I've put the note takers in the waiting room.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Hello, this is Tony.
Tony, John, hello. Please mute your mics, please. We have, it looks like 19 people, and if your mics aren't muted, we're going to have some background noise that is going to interfere with conversations. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to all of you for joining our second meeting where we're discussing the issue of the right of first refusal and how Blacks in the diaspora can help build a Black economy through participating with African countries in regards to business opportunities that come through the right of first refusal initiatives. I have some spectacular guests. I'm not going to try to go through all of you. What I plan to do is have about 1 hour of discussions around 6 or 7 topics, and then about 30 minutes of questions, answers, and short comments. I do want to, those of you that can, please turn on your cameras. If you can, please turn them on, especially you, Mr. CEO. I want our people to see you. I have scheduled for presentations really 4 people. I think we only need 3. Gary is co-host of the Economic Liberation of Africa podcast, and um, we do the same thing. I'll just not call on him unless he has something particular to say. We have our guests are ADDI CEO Philip Springer. I'm going to uh, call on him in a moment. With Black and Global, we have the founder, Melissa Muhammad. And I am looking for Carolyn Lanton. I do not see her yet, but Carolyn will be with us representing Remoting.Work. What we're talking about is building a Black economy and using the wealth of our homeland, our motherland, to do it. This is an initiative that has been pioneered and led by the incomparable Dr. Arikana Chihamborikwa, founder of ADDI. And we have multiple members of ADDI in this meeting. If you're not a member, you ought to be. I think it's probably the most consequential organization in the Black world today. And we are proud to have here with us the CEO of ADDI, Mr. Philip Springer, who has a resume that's too long for me to recount. Of course, I don't want to recount it anyway. I want him to do that. And I want you to lay it on, Philip, because we're talking about growing Black wealth, and we need the people, all of you all. I want you to lay it on. Don't hold back. All of us want to make some money, and we all intend to be a part of the liberation of Africa. So there's nothing to hold back. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Mr. Springer. I ask you to unmute your mic and tell us who you are, why you're here, and where we're going.
Good evening to all protocols being observed. Thank you, Peter, for this invitation to fellowship with your group tonight. I am Philip Nathaniel Catlin Springer. I usually go by the name Philip Springer. I am the CEO of a number of different organizations, but one in particular, ADDI. I'm also the ASIPA, one you probably haven't heard of, but ASIPA formed out of ADDI. ASIPA basically stands for African with a K, Sovereign Indigenous Peoples Alliance. And how that came about, Peter, is that when I became a vice president of ADDI, I recognized there were some deficiencies that needed to be corrected. One of them was that the Caribbean, South Latin America, was lagging. And a lot of that has to do with geopolitical situations more than anything else. Now, I had approached Dr. Arikana and I said to her, I think we need to make some changes in order to allow for these regions to be able to have equal playing field. All of the focus and energy at that time was the United States and Europe, or North America, I should say, and Europe. We worked very hard in the Caribbean through an organization called Caribbean Sovereign Peoples Concern, which we host every Sunday. And out of that, a life developed on its own. We're Caribbean people who have been living in other parts of the world, Britain, Europe, North America, different parts. It started gravitating towards Caribbean Sovereign Peoples Concern. And out of that came ASIPA. ASIPA, as I said, stands for African Sovereign Indigenous Peoples Alliance. And that's exactly what has happened. We have now formed a number of alliances with various groups, the Colonagos, the Garafunas, the Tainos, various indigenous groups that are part of this Caribbean makeup, Caribbean, Central, and South America. People don't realize that we have a lot of groups in this region that are not necessarily mainstream. I can think of Guyana. I can think of Suriname, just in particular, just those two. St. Vincent, where there are several maroon type groups and different indigenous people that are never spoken of. This was never more highlighted than in the little skirmish that has been had between Venezuela and Guyana about the oil. And that's when the cry for the voice of the indigenous was called to be heard. We have stepped into that breach, and we do this under the ADDI banner. I give all credit and all praise to Her Excellency, Dr. Arikana Chiamborikwa, who is the founder and the chairman of ADDI. I was asked to be the CEO just short of 2 years now, and I gracefully accepted such. And I serve under her and Vice President Cook, who is the global vice president, along with some others whom I will not name at this time. I'm also the president of the UNIA in Barbados. UNIA, as we know, is the Marcus Garvey organization that has been around for pretty much about 100 years now. I'm proud to be the president of such, the first, and I believe the only one so far who's been president of that, based on the fact that I consider myself a Garveyite. And I made it a business, a habit of studying Marcus every day. I've done that for quite some time, and some of it is repetitive, but there's so much to learn that you really could spend a lifetime just reading his words and also listening to his the videos, documentaries that have been put together, and you still don't get it all. He was a visionary. He was a man that was so far ahead of his time that I am paled in comparison to the accomplishments that he's achieved. By the time he was 58 years old, because he only lived to 58, I'm 66 years old. If you can imagine that he didn't have a cell phone, he didn't have a computer, he probably didn't have Wi-Fi. But he built 14 million members, 1,200 chapters worldwide. And he did all that with a 5-cent newspaper that he peddled. I find that as far as we have evolved, technologically, we lack a bit of the fight. Garvey took the fight to the world, and he represented people of color, and he did a very good job of it. It's unfortunate the way he was disposed of the latter part of his life, but we can change that narrative. I was very proud and happy to see that Joe Biden would have given him a pardon and allowed for his name to be cleared. I know his son, Julius Garvey, very well, Dr. Julius Garvey, and I've met with him, and I was so happy for the Garvey family. I also know a couple of the current members of that family. They serve with us on different organizations. I will mention now I'm also a member of the Nyan-Kapong Maroon. I'm a chief in the Nyan-Kapong Maroon family. I'm a high chief over Canada, where I primarily live for the most of my life. So that's another organization that I'm associated with. I'm also the CEO of the NTEC group of companies, consisting of about 30 companies altogether in the group, and they span from Canada to the United States to the Caribbean to Africa. We are involved in many different areas, from finance to banking to, finance and banking is pretty much the same thing, mining, house building, land development, and probably some things I won't even remember to say here today. However, we have been very active. I've been very active in my life, trying to make a difference in the life of ordinary people like ourselves. I'm also the president of the Barbados Sovereignty Union / Party, EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters here in Barbados, where I come from a long political line, going back to the second premier, but who served the first term here in Barbados, Dr. Hugh Cummins was my great uncle, all the way down to Earl Barrow, who was the first prime minister who brought the island to independence, and all the way down from there to the current prime minister. I've been related to everyone. It is the most amazing track record, but I look forward to the future, what that holds going forward. Now, saying all of that about myself, my proficiencies are in banking, law, and business, and those are my primary proficiencies. However, I have other secondaries. Been to school a lot, so please bear with me. Anyway, without further ado and without talking much more about myself, I want to address the reason I was invited here today. I was invited by my host, Peter Grear, to speak on behalf of First Right of Refusal on business opportunities pertaining to the continent. We are very active in developing business opportunities. Yes, we are. There isn't probably a day that goes by that I'm not involved in some discussion, whether it's in the continent, whether it is in the southern part of the Americas or the Caribbean. I'm currently sitting in Birmingham, England, where I have been for the past couple of months, arranging different opportunities for our people. I was with the Congolese delegation on Friday when the signing took place between Rwanda and the Congo. I was with them at their celebration on Saturday night here in Birmingham, along with some other ambassadors who were invited to that occasion. And I must say, folks, that the Congo is open for business. One of our chairs, Angelo, who is the chair of Texas, did a presentation on my program yesterday where he is building an entire city in the Congo. Angelo is one of our members in ADDI. He is the chair of the Texas arm of ADDI. I have been given the invitation by the consulate here in Birmingham to look at various investment opportunities, which we will be sharing with our members, both in ADDI as well as ASIPA, which I will speak more of as we go along. We are very active in Liberia. We own and control in excess of 500,000 acres of land there at this time, including one mine. We are active in Zimbabwe. We're active in Tanzania, Zanzibar, Zambia. I'm just giving you the ones off the top of my head that I remember, but there are quite a few opportunities that do exist, and we are building those bridges. But we're also active in the Caribbean, Suriname, Guyana, in particular, soon Grenada. And we go where opportunity presents itself. And we want to always be able to present to our members or provide for our members the opportunity to participate in some of the wealth that is going on out there. All of the other races are in our backyards benefiting from all of our assets, and we are the people most often left out. We lack capital. We often are not as organized as the other groups of people, but we are aiming to change that. I am putting a lot of effort into how we can develop our people. And I'm not talking just about big business, 500,000 acres of land. That's massive stuff. But what about the little guy? I saw on my screen just now a young man named Jason Agard, who is a small business person in Barbados, very loyal to our cause, and is, besides his taxi delivery business that he does, he manufactures health drinks. And we support him in that. I can think of Glendine Greaves, also a manufacturer in Barbados, Star Products, who has been in business for 33 years. I've known Glendine for probably 25 of those years. And we're now entering into a relationship with her where we will be buying or acquiring part of that business with her once everything is negotiated out, in order to provide opportunity for some of our members as well. I can think of Dr. McDonald, who I believe is on here as well. I'm sure I saw him when I scrolled in when I initially came on. Dr. McDonald, where are you? Was here. I don't see him now, but Dr. McDonald is the founder and CEO of Iberia Gold. And I'm sure he'll be back, but it's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning in Poland where he is. I would love him to even introduce himself and say a few words. Iberia Gold is one of the projects that we are very heavily involved in. It is a new concept of realizing our assets. It is where we have gone out and met with mine owners across the continent, as well as in places like Oceania, where it all started with a chief from the Maori tribe in New Zealand, who first approached Dr. McDonald about the idea of utilizing their mines to monetize them and to raise capital. Dr. McDonald has, in the past 2 years, done a phenomenal job of bringing that from an idea, a concept, to a first of its kind by developing the Iberia Gold coin, which is now available for purchase since December 21st of last year. Dr. McDonald and the team that is supporting him, which is quite an extensive one, would love to have some of you acquire some of those tokens that he is offering. So that information I can provide through Peter, or any of you can contact me or Dr. McDonald directly. I will put that information in the chat a little bit later. That is one of our products that we are currently promoting. We also have iTech Caribbean, which was probably our first venture into business. iTech Caribbean is developed by a young man out of St. Lucia, who has developed 8 social media platforms, including Meetup One, which is the equivalent to Zoom. You would have experienced that, Brother Peter, the other night. You were on our platform. And let me say, he's done a phenomenal job of building Meetup One. It is a world-class platform. And for any of you who are interested in an alternative to Zoom, please get in touch with me and I'll put you in the right direction. Also, I would say he's developed Carb Social, which is equivalent to that of Facebook, and is doing quite well. Chat Vibes, which is also equivalent to that of the WhatsApp. He also has developed Clipbust, which is equivalent to that of YouTube. These are developed by our people for us, by us for us. The young man who developed those, and I say young man because he is a young man, is the chair of our Martinique chapter. He is originally from St. Lucia, but now lives in Martinique and is in fact the chair of our Martinique ADDI. Family, let me say that developing business is a very busy task. You're working many hours, and I'm not complaining. It is midnight here where I am. It is actually 12:30 now. And I am on with you guys. And I've been up since probably 5 o'clock this morning. No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's what it takes. That's what it takes to build anything. If you want it, you have to work for it. I am committed to developing ADDI as far as I can go, as far as the organization will let me go in developing opportunities for our people. To joining us here today are many of our members that I have circulated this invitation to. I see Andrew Saras, I see Mali Kantiki there, and I see a number of them across the screen. And that is, I think, testimony to the work that is being done. And Brother Peter, with all due respect, it is one thing to sit and hear from me, but it's also the proof is in the pudding. And I believe that if some of these regular, ordinary members who show up week after week, day after day, and put their elbows to the grind, have one or two testimonies that they would like to give, I'm more than willing to yield to that and allow for the people to speak freely. But you're the moderator, so I would not tell you how to run your show. But I think encouragement is often best from the mouths of the participants.
Well, I agree. Well, if you wind it down, let me say that I certainly appreciate what you bring into us. It's really an opportunity for us to engage with you and ADDI, and we want testimonies from all of our people. We want everyone with an idea that can enhance the objective of economic liberation for Black people to have a say.
Yes.
And we have to create an environment where that can happen. I have part of the answer, don't have it all, but the next person that I actually want to hear from is Melissa Muhammad. What I'm trying to do is frame our activities around the right of first refusal. And I think when Melissa does her presentation, we can discuss one item that I think will enhance our ability to do well economically all over the world. My objective, our objective, is to grow Black businesses globally. And I think that when Melissa does her presentation, I have one item that I want to make sure that she touches on, but then we'll have a better understanding of how a person that may be local can become global, and how the right of first refusal that is being actually driven by ADDI can be a part of the vehicle that helps with that transition. So without further ado, Melissa.
Thank you, Mr. Grear. I appreciate you inviting us out to join the conversation. Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa Muhammad. I'm the founder and CEO of the Black and Global Business Network. So we are an international business development firm, and we help Black-owned businesses access government resources to sell their products and services globally. We do that in a couple of ways. So I'm an international tax attorney. I love everything tax. I'll say it all the time. Everybody has to pay it. I don't care what country you're operating in. We specialize on structuring you into the country, getting your money in, getting your money out, and setting you up for global contracts and global growth. So as an international tax attorney, I've worked probably about 25, almost 26 years at this point. And I worked for the Internal Revenue Service and lived around the world. Uncle Sam was going to send people like me to open the doors and make sure that American businesses can structure their businesses into the country. And the more tax that you pay overseas, the less you're going to pay back in the US. So basically, there's a cadre of lawyers that handle this and what are called international negotiators. So that's what I've spent over 2 decades of my life doing. But I had never worked for or served a Black-owned business after working in 50 countries and living as a diplomat around the world. So I took my skills and all of the Black people I knew and put together Black and Global for us to take our talent and help our own businesses to structure around the world. So I've trained tax officials in about 153 countries. And everywhere in the world, we've worked in about 195 countries. We have a global focus with a special focus on Africa and the Caribbean. So what has that turned into for us? We started just Black and Global in 2021, and we've grown to over 6,000 members. We're doing our largest projects to date. Our largest projects is one for 60 million. Well, let me say, we started out small. So we started out like $10,000, $100,000, and that has grown over time. So we are doing projects like in Zimbabwe, the Philippines, Taiwan. We're doing projects like installing cable, fiber optic cables, waste to energy, data centers, Black farmers initiatives. So we're agnostic as to the type of business that we do. We are handholders. So basically, what's important to us is that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and you're protected as you are moving around the globe. So we have a training component where we train businesses because most large corporations have internal teams that help them to grow internationally. But small businesses don't have that. So we are the international business development team for our companies. And we work with government offices. So you don't have to go through the government to do business globally. I tell people that. But that's my sweet spot. I know how to move in and out of the government and to get the resources because I was one of the people that did that. So what that looks like is we work with XM Bank. XM's one of their small business committee. We work with different lenders. We work with the U.S. Commercial Services. So we put together a training program to train our businesses first, because you have to understand what it takes. It's not a short-term game, but it's very lucrative. There's no doubt about that. And so we train our businesses in the U.S. to be able to do business in other countries. And then for companies in other countries wanting to come to the U.S., we train them as well. So I shared with Mr. Grear a couple of weeks ago, we got our largest deal to date, our first $1 billion deal, which for me is like really crazy. It's unbelievable. So I've done many deals like that working for the government, but never working, for my own company. So it's quite surreal. And so these projects take a long time, but I'm very grateful to be in the midst of helping our businesses to be able to grow. So in terms of what Mr. Grear asked about the right of first refusal, so we get a lot of contracts requests from around the world, calling us asking, do you have this kind of company? Do you have that type of company? An example is last week we got a call from Ghana asking about doing power purchasing agreements, and they are looking for companies that can come in and negotiate and work with Ghana in order to offer power purchasing agreements. So we get those types of calls all the time. So we have become global contract specialists. So we have a portal where we keep all of those contracts. Once we get them, we send them out to our members for requests for proposals, and we review the company to make sure that the company has the ability to deliver on the contracts. So when Mr. Greer told me about ADDI's initiative, I was extremely excited because it's right in line with how we work to get contract information, go through the request for proposal or the contract, and align that business with a business that is in the Black and Global Business Network. So I'm excited, Mr. Greer, to talk about that possibility, how we can put it together. We are very structured and very systemized. So, my mind works like that. I'm a numbers girl. So I really, what I would like to see is how we can contribute the way that we structure our process and our onboarding process and, reviewing the contracts and how we could take what we do and possibly leverage what you're doing so that we can better serve our members.
Thank you. I want to make a comment that I think points out to the scope of what it is we're accomplishing, and I shouldn't say trying to accomplish because this is actually in motion. I study Africa pretty much 24/7, and I use AI 24/7. And I asked AI for some projections, and one of the projections revolved around the opportunities for Black entrepreneurs based on the right of first refusal. And AI responded with a statistic that sort of blew my mind. AI says that Blacks in the diaspora remit approximately $50 billion per year to the African continent. And I asked my wife, I say, look, how about putting this in your computer and tell me what $10,000 divided into $50 billion equals. She says she 5,000. And the reason that's so astounding is we're talking about, as I envision it, the possibility of creating public corporations owned by Blacks that have the ability to grow those corporations because they're having opportunities created through the right of first refusal. Now, I asked, my son Reggie is a lawyer, and of course, Melissa is a lawyer, and I asked Reggie to do a little bit of a profile for me. But when I was doing the profile on Melissa, I asked AI what Melissa's company would look like in 10 years. I was astonished because what AI said was that Melissa's company, Black and Global, could provide a cut and paste compliance program that would allow Black people that are going through the ADDI protocol portal to bid on right of first refusal jobs in a heartbeat. And that when companies are able to show income from right of first refusal opportunities, that the insurance is lower and they have better everything because they have a substantial source of income. And I'm saying to myself, there's a Jobs Act in America that was created during the Obama administration. And so I asked Melissa, I said, Melissa, if we get a company that has maybe $10,000, um, you don't, $10 million, I'm sorry, you don't have to have $10 million to do what I'm talking about. But the Jobs Act allows smaller companies to go public without the red tape that it would take for a Wall Street company to go public. And so Melissa says, surely that would be within our scope of services. And I'm thinking 10,000, 10 billion, $10 million by 5,000 Black companies on an annual basis sold to 2 billion Black consumers worldwide. The 50 billion that's being invested as remittances to Africa could be invested in the thousands of Black businesses that we can create with the ability to do all kinds of products. And once we begin collaborating worldwide, we will be buying into one another's companies. We will be going public. We will be doing amazing things. We will be building a Black economy and not depending upon someone else's economy to rescue Black people from the conditions that we find ourselves in. So that was it was mind blowing. I tried to be specific in my comment. I'm actually going to stop and see if I can get another comment from someone else. Carolyn, are you here? Carolyn?
Yeah, you have a question in the chat.
What is that question?
Could you please explain the right of first refusal?
Sure. The right of first refusal. I did an article today for my niece, really, for my family. The right of first refusal, you really need to read that article. The right of first refusal is a program where a government, and they're doing it in Africa, and that's what the article is about five countries doing it in Africa, says, look, we're going for any public contract that we release, we're going to ask for competitive bids. And whenever the competitive bid comes in, if it's not from, if the lowest responsive bid is not from a Black vendor or company, then the African country mandates that the bid be released through a portal. We're saying ADDI, I think that's how it's going. And Black people that can respond to that bid, which is where Melissa comes in with her compliance package, has 30 days to submit an equal or better bid and take the contract. And that's sort of guaranteed money. That's a shorthand definition because you have 54 countries in Africa, and the way that they're creating their right of first refusal is different from country to country. But the bottom line is any public spending, this country, city, county, that is at a certain dollar amount has to be offered to a Black majority owned or African majority owned company before it can be uh, given to someone outside the Black family. So hopefully that is the answer. And we look. I'm writing about this stuff every day, and I'm going to make a really plug for my businesses as we go. And I just urge all of you to follow what I'm doing because I am being guided by people like Philip, Melissa, Is Carolyn Lanton here? She maybe she didn't get here, but she is the director of Remoting. Jason, mute yourself. Jason, mute yourself. Reggie, if you can mute Jason if necessary, please do it. But Remoting.Work is a personnel company that enables Black businesses outside of Africa to hire professional talent at sometimes up to 60% less than they can hire that talent here in America. I'm not sure what the Caribbean looks like, which means that the personnel money that may be prohibitive in one instance, it's not so prohibitive when you're using Remoting.Work. And I'm going to give you, I asked AI for a projection on Remoting.Works also. And it said that one of the things that the uh, advocates for right of first refusal like to see in the compliance proposal is that we have hired that the uh, diasporan company has hired African talent. The more African talent you hire, the more likely you are to impress the decision makers at the end of the contract. And Remoting.Work has offices in Africa, 48 countries. But anyway, I'm rambling. I think I've said what I wanted to say.
Another quick question.
Go for it.
I have it teed up to share it in the chat. Just wanted to make sure it's ready to go to share in the chat or not. The article.
Yes, you
Okay.
can do that.
Hopefully I can do this correctly.
Okay. But so now I'm gonna make a shameless plug for my companies, and as far as I'm concerned, we can open up the discussion for other comments, and I'm certainly feel I see Dr. McDonald here, and if there's someone else that wants to do some highlights, I think we can all do highlights and ask questions over the next 40 minutes. But
Yes.
my companies, my wife and I are Greater Diversity News. And under Greater Diversity News, we do newsletters. We have a website, we have print edition, and we do 3 newsletters per week. And I do articles for those newsletters. And my focus, and we have our podcast, is the economic liberation of Africa. And that's why I'm so excited about what we're talking about, because I want as many people online as possible to go to my website. I have a request to be a guest on my website, greaterdiversity.com. Greaterdiversity.com. Sign up for our newsletter. If you have products, ideas that you are promoting and you think would be appropriate for what it is we're talking about, please ask me to be a guest. I'll schedule an interview and we'll present it to the entirety of the people that are interested and people that find value in what it is that we're doing.
A couple of people who are have their hands raised to ask questions.
Yeah, I see 2 people, and of course Melissa she's a presenter, so I have to start with her. Melissa, and then we'll get you. Andrew, you're next. Melissa?
So thank you, Mr. Greer. I just wanted to add, when you were talking about Remoting.Work. So Black and Global partners with Remoting.Work to promote a campaign called Hire Africa. And one of our goals is to increase the number of diasporan businesses that actually hire African talent and scale their businesses with African talent. So Remoting.Work is a Black-owned business, and they have BPO centers, as Mr. Grear said, in 48 countries on the continent. And they have organized to have actual physical locations where individuals work, so they don't work from home. And they are technically starting out as an IT company, and they store all of your data here in the US. So the same way that other businesses have built the Philippines and they've built India is the same way that we're focused on our businesses building the talent on the continent. So they have access to over 50,000 employees. And when I tell you it covers um, everything from IT to all of the Black, white hat software development, architectural engineering, risk assessment, financial analysts, administrative service, telehealth, you name it. They're able to get you that type of talent. So our vision is to have 10,000 Black entrepreneurs to hire at least one young African professional. Because at Black and Global, on our team, we have 4 young African professionals, and they run from age 20, I think they're at this point 22 to 27. And when I tell you they run our business, my focus is on doing the deals. That's my sweet spot. I don't particularly care for the day-to-day. I just like to do the money part where we're doing the deals in other countries. But they literally run this business. And so we are a testament that they have the ability to deliver and they have top talent. So our business is literally scaling globally. We have people in the Philippines, and we have people in, I think, 4 countries in Africa. So we're promoting businesses to do what we do, and we're looking for also affinity relationships. So as we work with Mr. Grear on the right of first refusal, because Remoting.Work has offices in so many countries, let's say take Ghana as an example, or let's say Rwanda, because our outreach director is in Rwanda. She does, so being in Rwanda, if we get a contract in Rwanda for an American business, we would go to Remoting.Work and have Remoting.Work to staff that contract with workers from from Rwanda. So that's on one side of the equation. And then on the other side of the equation, the reason the American government will help businesses to export is not because they're in love with you. You can create jobs in the US, and they literally have millions and millions of dollars to help businesses to get contracts in other countries to create jobs. So we're creating jobs in the country, for example, Rwanda, and we're creating jobs here in the US. So that's why for us, working with Remoting.Work, one of our greatest missions is to actually do that job creation piece, and we deliver it through Remoting.Work.
Hey, before we move on to Andrew, can we have someone, Melissa, there's a question for you in the chat from Charles Thigpen. Charles, do you want to ask Melissa before we go to Andrew? Melissa, can you see his question in the chat?
I do. Does Melissa source African staffers and talent? So I think that's what I was just referring to. Charles, did I answer your question?
There's one after that. I tried to answer that one for you too, but there's another one after that.
Provide contact on my network. Yeah, we'll drop it. So
it says remoting work assignments only, so remote working assignments only. He asked about IT infrastructure technicians, network installers, etc.
So Remoting.Work only does remote workers. So in this way, if you're talking about someone that is in Rwanda, that is doing IT support on a contract that you have in the US or in other countries, that is 100% remote. If you're talking about workforce development in Rwanda, just as an example country, that is something that we help you do as well. What's an example of that? So knowledge transfer is very key to us. We are not colonizers, and we do not do projects with the concept that we know more than the countries that we're going into. So we look to share knowledge, and training boots on the ground is very key to what we do. So every contract that we have, there's a workforce development component where the actual team and the country is trained on delivering that contract.
Let me make a comment, and Carolyn Lanton of Remoting.Work has arrived, and Carolyn, Melissa has stood in for you all ably, and so I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna take another question. It looks like Andrew, you had your hand up. Why don't we go to you?
Okay, good evening. This is Andrew Saraz representing the African and Sovereign Indigenous Peoples Alliance. I'm headed by Brother Philip Springer. I'm akin to Brother Philip Springer now for a few years now since we met, since the UNIA convention here in Curacao in 2023. It's the first time I reached out to the Brother Springer at a radio TV program, to have some of the UNIA members come and present and talk a little bit about the convention here in Curacao on his radio show. Okay, that's just a short introduction to myself and how I come to become part of the African Indigenous People Sovereign Alliance. About this part about first refusal, I would like to say a little about something about the Caribbean a little bit now, especially how the Caribbean is in certain ways and how contractual agreements work. I presently work for a limited liability company and in construction sector. I'm an employee, and I have very good relations with my employer. I mean, I can hardly even call him an employee. He's almost like a brother to me. And our construction company, we get public contracts from the government to service public schools. We do different works in public schools. And when a contract is being submitted from the government, that it gets an approval, it goes to a school board, and the school board has a advisory body, okay, that says, okay, they stipulate the basic conditions for the contract, and they send it over to the local school, who has their own representatives. Now, the first refusal, it will not work here in Curacao.
No. Let me sort of bring a little bit of clarity. Basically, I think the right of first refusal will work in a lot of places, but much of the right of first refusal is race based.
Yeah.
And if you're a black company doing a bid and you getting the bid, you don't need a right of first refusal.
Okay.
If you're in a situation where there's a white company that has historically taken all of the opportunity and locked black folk out, and there is some control over that white company's ability to get that bid, that's a situation where the body that's going to award the contract can say, hey, look, I mean, we'll give you this contract if we don't have a brother or sister that can do the work, or if you have a certain percentage of participation by a brother or sister. So, but I don't want us to get too deep into it. We need to go. Hold. Let me stay with me now. This is an introductory meeting, and the thing that we need to do today is establish members of our right of first refusal committee so that we can game plan these opportunities from now on. And we're going to be game planning them. Obviously, that's a lot of what Brother Springer is helping us with. We need to pick people that have the skills and the companies to plug into the opportunities that we're trying to grow. But we got to have a process. We got to have a playbook that can help us
Yeah.
get the deals. And so some of the details of what we're doing aren't going to be clear today. I mean,
Mhm.
this is massive, and it's new to a lot of us, and we have a lot of moving pieces. So just bear with us. Join a committee. We plan to have these meetings hopefully once a month, and so that we can be sensitive. We have about 25 more minutes. I want to do this right now on behalf of Melissa, Carolyn, and Brother Springer. If you heard Brother Springer, and I hope you did, he said it was midnight. It was 12:30 where he was. That's midnight, and I am
Yeah.
sensitive. I am sensitive to his commitment to what we're doing, and our need to try to have our meetings at a time that are not quite as brutal. And so I have asked him about a better time so that we can pick a time now and know that it won't be 12 midnight for him. Uh, so
But
with that,
I would like to add a point here. I mean,
go. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
on the larger scale, on some very large government contracts. I mean, the Caribbean still, I mean, some very large contracts are always being tendered out to foreign contractors.
Well,
So I mean,
let me answer you
there is
like this then. Does do black officials have control of those contracts?
um, it's all about liability.
No,
It's all
no,
about liability.
sure.
The
First question.
minister, the Minister of Economy and the Minister of Finance, if some certain liabilities are in play, and yeah, they will look for foreign contracts. So I mean, I'm listening very carefully to what you're saying here, because there is space in our government to encourage our ministers, our government ministers, to say, look, the right of first refusal should be to our native people.
Well, I agree
Okay.
with you, and if you can get a task force and encourage that on your government, then we can help you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. But
our job in this arena is to find ways to help black folk get rich.
yeah.
That's what
Okay.
we want to do.
I want to add another point here. And because of this systematic selectivity process, all right, the competition within the black community for public contract is very fierce, because in, let's say, about 30 years ago up till today, the standard colonial thinking was that when a public contract comes up, you get 3 bidders are allowed. And of course, 3 bids come
Well,
forward. You have a high bid.
but listen, you're trying to solve a problem in a short window. We need to deal with you in a long-term window so that we can
Yeah.
get professionals that have the skill set to analyze your situation and try to come up with a solution that will work for you. I don't
Yeah.
think we do justice to you trying to resolve a years old issue in 3 or 4 minutes. I think
Yeah.
you,
No.
yeah,
Okay.
come back and allow us to work with you on that and not try to resolve it right now.
Yeah, sure. I was just amplifying something to bring a larger point forward.
Sure,
Um,
but you need space and time to do that.
okay, brother. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Love
I'm
to hear you.
sensitive to what you're doing, and we want to help,
Okay.
but we need to have the time and space to actually give you the help you need.
Okay, no problem, brother.
Okay. So where is the? I probably need. I'm not going to do that.
Peter, if I can, it's Philip. Can I
Sure.
can
Go
I
ahead.
address part of that, please? Because The brother is asking a very legitimate question, but I think part of that, Andrew, is what we're trying to develop something called a circular economy. The problem that we are is that we're always outside of the economy. We don't have the resources financially. We're not structurally set up to accommodate many of these. And often when we come to compete, those people are already stacked. They have the bank behind them. They have the government agencies that they buy off. They have, their friends and relatives who have associated businesses. So they keep everything pretty much in-house, and it isolates us. It keeps us out there. You're the lone wolf kind of thing. And so what we're trying to do, and what Peter I think is trying to achieve here, is that we can create a circular economy. I like where Ms. Mohammed is going with her program. And I think these are the type of synergies that we have to build together. We can't focus on the individual problem tonight because it would take up too much time, as Peter has said, and we're only down to about 20 minutes left. But the point is, I can definitely see where, Peter, we have to work on developing that circular economy where our dollars are circulating within our communities, which we don't do now. And I will just yield there because I don't want to take up too much time. One of the things that we're doing, Peter, is that we're developing our own financial resources. And I would like Dr. McDonald to take 2 or 3 minutes, Doc, and just come on and explain to Peter and the folks here.
Sure, Doc.
How you're doing that. And also our director of business is Elder Charles Thigpen, who asked a question to the sister. If I can at least get those two in before the time is up, I would appreciate it.
Sure. By all means, Charles, Doc, either one of you, both of you. I saw Dr. McDonald come in. I'm not sure where he is. Charles Thigpen? Well, if they come back, then we'll let them in. What I want to do now is ask you, Philip, Melissa, and Carolyn, whether or not we can pick a meeting time on a Saturday or Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, after 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, up to there's a window in there, Philip, that I know you have your Sunday program, and we want to avoid that. And but Melissa, does a Saturday afternoon work for you?
Ooh, this is what Mr. Springer was saying about the sacrifice now, because I got little people. I have small children, but if we do it once a month on the recurring Saturday, like the first Saturday, second Saturday, third Saturday, or fourth Saturday, I can plan for it.
Okay, we can do that then. We'll do a Saturday meeting. Tentatively, it'll be 1 o'clock, and I will pick the Saturday probably 4 weeks out so that we can get it done. And Carolyn, I think that Remoting.Work is probably going to be flexible enough to handle a Saturday. Am I correct? You're muted, Carolyn. Now you okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. And please let me apologize. I got the time mixed up. I thought it was 7 o'clock. My time is actually 6 o'clock. So please forgive me for missing that. That is something I will carry back and talk to Tony about and see if he and I can pinch hit. And if that Saturday at 1 o'clock will work him as well. And
Okay.
again, just to and again, like I said, please forgive me, but I hear that the main focus of this meeting was for you to create the committee around
correct. And we covered Remoting.Work. And this is not the end. This is the beginning. So we'll have chances to explore more in depth what it is that you all bring to the table. So why don't we do this? We have maybe 15 minutes, and I'd like to show that. I sent the I sent the committee structure. Look, it's an AI structure, so there's nothing that's compelling about it. But look at that committee structure and pick a committee, and we don't have to, we're not going to try and finalize any committees tonight, but consider your skill set and where you could best add value to what it is we're trying to do based upon that committee structure.
Yes, Mr. Greer.
Yes, Charles, you're here. Go
Yes, I'm
ahead.
sorry. My mic wasn't working a
Oh,
moment ago.
sure, go
Yes,
ahead.
I'm working with Brother Springer in bringing I'm working on two things. One of them is to bring a business and trade show to Nigeria, okay, which will highlight uh, uh, the Pan-African trade between the diaspora and the continent. That's one project that I'm working on, and the other is we are actively now through ADDC, the for-profit arm of ADDI. We are actively pursuing some projects in several different countries, and the the global the black and global business that Melissa was speaking about interested me in that regard, because I do need to have boots on the ground in the technical spaces where IT is concerned in some of these projects. So
Thank you.
that was the focus of my question.
Thank you. Now, as far as yeah, I think I've already announced the fact that I'd like to have as many as you as possible to apply to be guests on our podcast. What I want all of us to think about is, identifying businesses that we can take public so that we those of us in this little network, as we grow it, can buy stock in one another's companies and help circulate our money through black hands over and over and over again, and we all be pulling for the same thing. I think we have the ingredients to make that happen. We have about 15 minutes. I can take some other comments and some other
Let me
questions.
see if Dr. McDonald can be available. I also have Andrew Daniel is on here. He's my COO. And it's important to get a good grasp of where we're going. I think the
Sure.
synergies with Melissa, I don't know Carolyn's program yet so well, but I will find out. The point is that we can grow together. We have the opportunities. Also, the International Black Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is also, we're growing that as well. And that is important to understand that that is not only in the Caribbean here, it's also in North America, and it's also on the continent. So these are synergies that we have to pull together in order to bring the best out of us for us.
Right. And,
Carolyn,
yes.
go ahead.
If you'll allow me, so that
Absolutely.
because I was late and they didn't get the chance to hear what Remoting.Work is about. I'm Carolyn Lanton, and I'm the Director of Operations at Remoting.Work, and I'm proud to represent a company that exists with a clear focus and purpose, and that's to reduce business failure when local labor costs and primary barriers continue to cut the growth of our small to mid-sized businesses. My role at Remoting.Work is to ensure that both our employer and clients and our global workforce have the tools and the structure that they need in order to thrive. And I think, as we explore how the initiatives like this right of the first refusal can how Remoting.Work can impact that to help those organizations, those businesses, as they are coming into these opportunities. As they that when they are blessed, we're gonna call it call those things or not as though they are. When they are blessed with that, that they are prepared with the right team and the right structure there to help them when that growth hits. Right, Remoting.Work is there to be able to help them with that and keep them in business. Our goal is to make sure businesses stay in business, stay in operations, right? And so I think this is a great initiative, an awesome endeavor that we're taking on to be able to help businesses get through those doors that we normally don't get through.
Let me add something to what you're saying. Recently, the National Black Chamber of Commerce joined Remoting.Work, and they are collaborating to promote Remoting.Work all over America. And of course, Remoting.Work is growing skill sets and talent all over Africa. So we have the right mix to do anything that we choose to do. We simply have to process it effectively. That's all we need to do. I haven't heard anything that I think is impossible to present it tonight. I think we're gonna have challenges, but God knows, as Black people, we have talent and things that we need to do, we can do. Other questions or comments?
I want to ask something real quick. I have your email address teed up to put in the chat so everybody get a chance to get it, if that's appropriate. If not, no worries. I haven't sent it.
Well, you better not.
Okay.
Because look, I get overwhelmed with email, and Melissa has someone that takes her email. I don't have that. Of course, when Carolyn gets me my assistant, then I'll have someone that can monitor my email. You owe me that, Carolyn.
Yes, sir. In the works.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I would just like to add, Mr. Greer, thank you for your thought leadership in this area. You know, it speaks volumes, not only your commitment to the continent, but also to our people around the diaspora. And what you're doing, what you're suggesting to me is very doable. And I always give this analogy, and I ask all of us to consider that when you see other businesses operating from other countries in America, or you see Chinese companies here, you see Korean companies here, and you say, oh, how do those businesses operate? How are they able to open the tea shop or the dry cleaners? Or if you go to other countries and you see American businesses, but it's always the large American businesses, please hear me when I tell you, the reason they can operate is because their government support them in coming to America. If you open up a Chinese place, the treaty says you can hire Chinese people. You can bring over your own staff. Why would they do that? Because they're going to do the remittances back to China. The American government does the exact same thing. The exact same thing for our businesses as well. And that's the piece that many of our businesses are missing, because you don't have to go to any country. 195 countries they have embassies in. And I'm going to share with you what makes me shake my head to tell our businesses, don't tell me you can't sell globally. I met a lady who used the American government to sell her online karate classes in Asia. Listen to what I'm saying. There's a white lady who in her garage did videos to do karate, and she wanted the government to sell her karate classes in Asia, of all places. And you know what they did? They sold her karate classes. And you know why they did it? Because she asked. Simply because she asked. It's just things that you don't know. Global business is very different from domestic business. All these certifications and fighting for these contracts and all these things people do domestically, that's not the international game. The international game is if you're top talent and you can deliver and you come with some money, the American government will finance you. They will loan money to foreign businesses to buy from you. It's just you simply don't know how the process goes. And whatever your talent is, we have an executive coach with a contract in Saudi Arabia. We have someone else with a virtual assistant business. We have so many different people in our 4 years who have been able to sell their skills and talent. So it's the mindset, Mr. Grear, for us to know that it's just the process and getting involved. And even if you don't know which committee you can be on, just having the heart, just having the interest, there's a process that you can contribute in order to make this successful. So my contribution is I really want to help us understand what the American government can do. And you pay your taxes. So if they're helping Starbucks and Facebook and all these other companies operate, they're going to help us too.
Let me make another comment. Thanks, Melissa. Let me make another comment. It just dawned on me that I do have all of your addresses. So I will send all of you that have registered, and I have them all, a copy of the committee structure, and I will ask those that are interested, and I hope everyone is interested, really. Either you can be on a committee or an advisory board, but we need to grow our presence and grow our brain bank so that we can meet the challenge that we are confronted with. Okay, I'm through talking. We have about 5 more minutes. Additional comments, please. Questions?
Dr. McDonald is on, if I'm not mistaken.
I've called on him and he has not responded. Doc, if you're here, turn on your mic and go for it.
Dr.
Philip.
Let me do it because it's probably about 2:00 in the morning where he is right now in Poland. Dr. McDonald is our head of he's the founder and director.
Here he is. He's here.
Are you there, Doc?
Doc, unmute yourself. You're muted, Doc. There you go. Now.
Yes, hi. Hi everyone. Yes, it's quite early morning. It's 2:20. Just happy to be here and letting everyone know that we're working with NTech. Happy to work with them in introducing and having this platform, financial platform, Iberia. It has come a far way when you're looking at the last year where we were. So just highlighting the milestones. It is about having the technology completed, the cryptocurrency wrapped security in which we have, not a bare naked token, but one that is cloaked in Ethereum, it's a Polygon. It is administered independently by a company in the UK, in Starbucks. We work together, and they're now linked with Fireblocks, which is the largest provider of these platforms. We work with the Indigenous in parts of Africa, as well as Oceania, the Maori and other Indians. These are relationships going back for years. So what we have is, again, it's a real world asset, a security token, and it is backed by real assets. We have 2 Cayman trusts. We ourselves are a Cayman issuer, because naturally I am from Cayman, so we use the Cayman issuer, which is a country tied to Britain, so it's very stable, and it's a country that's known for hedge funds and finance and global finance. So Iberia is a Cayman entity, and it's been set up for more than 15 years. It used to be a law firm. Set up Iberia. It was a sort of brand name because I dealt with Portugal, and I left it at that because for me, Iberia signifies new world, signifies ties globally in Africa. As you know, the Portuguese were global people. So the Iberia brand is one where it can mean new, change, also gold, where they're searching for gold, connecting the new world with the old. And so that's a bit of the background. But where we stand, it's it's approaching 400 billion when you look at the in-ground gold. Now, that's the in-ground gold of assets spread out over 40 mines. We have certainly come a far way for just 5 months that we were going live. First, when we started, we're just looking at friends and family and having the token issued to people at $100,000. But credit to Dr. Springer and his team that we found a way through the exchange. We have one exchange listing, which is the GMEX Group and SecDex in Seychelles, and we're able to offer to same accredited people, but lower the price to $500, making it more accessible to persons who are interested in taking up the token. The price as it stands, based on the one asset we held before taking on these additional assets, was at around 10 cents. The price went to 15 because naturally we did take on assets in the last 2 weeks. But because we now have the assets on, we have to further increase the price. Once Houlihan Capital, which is the entity in Chicago that's valued the token, valued our first land that we had from the beginning, 5 months out, where the price was set at around 10 cents, 15 cents now. And as we put the assets on, once the valuations are confirmed by Houlihan, they're valuing those trusts we now control. The price is going to zip to about $3 and more based on demand. So this is why it makes it attractive to come in. There are many ways a price can be established through demand forces naturally, and also through the assets that we seed on. And so it is that we want to make it available to people. We want this to be something that people would be proud of having. I am a minority shareholder, being a founder of the token, but the indigenous people, we look at Africa, we look at Oceania, we look at the Caribbean, but the indigenous, they have the controlling share of Iberia. So Iberia is a global token, one that's meant to benefit. And the proceeds, once we start to take in large amounts of money past the money raised already, we will place into projects in Oceania, housing data centers. We have earmarked projects, but we are open to looking at projects, schools, houses, the like, in the African continent, in the Caribbean, and Eastern Caribbean, that is. Even though I am Western Caribbean, we're looking at developing the East, where there's more need. And so we also have an investment committee, which comprises the token holders and the asset holders. A cap based on spending. We can't spend more than 100,000 without triggering the consents by the stakeholders. So the corporate governance points are made. And where we go from here would be another listing in the UAE through our partners, further expansion of the token. We're going to be getting an insurance wrap, which we have at New York Insurers. That makes us more investor grade as we look to revamp our website at the moment, as we look to take on the larger investors, the endowments, and the pools of capital. So where we head from here would be further listings Binance is another big platform. We will look at listing and developing our own app with the help of Chairman Springer, his team. We will grow and become, more of a, say, call it a name, household name, but one where people could be proud to hold the token. So I'm here to field any questions that you have. We are here as a community, and I said to people, we act more of like a cooperative rather than just a straight financial entity. It's a co-op. We have our assets, we have our investors, and we have projects where people have a say in how we do spend and the money. And it's not focused on just any one person. Again, I refer to myself as a minority stakeholder, and the bulk of our equity has already been distributed in the hands of the Indigenous, where rightfully it belongs. So it's community controlled. So that's where we are at. I'd love to, really, address any comments that you have. The world is.
Let me make a suggestion to you, if I might.
It is past 2:00 where he is.
Sure, I want to suggest that he schedule a podcast with me, so that we can have something that our people can study and respond to in a more robust fashion. I don't mind people responding now. It is past 2, but I would love to have you as a podcast guest so that we could.
Well, we're certainly willing to stay on a little bit longer if that gets the job done. Look, we got to do
Sure. That's fine with me.
We're not pushing you to wind down your program. I know time has elapsed. There are people on here who probably have something to say. I can think of Dr. Valerie O'Neill, if she's still with us, and others who I've invited here tonight for the purpose of ventilating on various issues. And so, if we don't mind, maybe
I do not mind at all. I'm happy that you all are here, and certainly, by all means, anyone that wants to add some additional insight, comments.
If you could put your information, I've put mine in the chat. If you could put your, I think you did already. I think I saw yours.
I'm going to email everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Do I hear Gary?
But I want you to realize what Dr. McDonald just said. We know that we have to build a financial foundation. He has been working with his team, and it's quite an aggressive team, to the tune right now of about $400 billion in assets. That is not 2 cents. We've come from ground zero and adding. And there's probably another 200 billion that will be added in the next 30 days or so. These are billion, not million. These are assets, worldwide assets, folks. This is real asset that is independently verified. So that when we go to market and we have to back we have a balance sheet that can say, okay, this company is good, or this investor is good, this developer is good. This is what we've been lacking substantially all the while in the Black financial and economic sphere. Dr. McDonald, who is a hedge fund lawyer and also an accountant by profession, he didn't say that, but he brings this knowledge along with others that are here with us today, and we want to explore that to its maximum to give our people that fighting chance, Peter.
Listen, I'm flattered, and hopefully this is just your first visit. I see Valerie is here. Her hand is up. Let's hear from her. Okay, Valerie. Doc, is that okay with you? I mean,
yes, absolutely. Dr. Valerie O'Neill, please go ahead.
Good evening to everyone. The information is very, very interesting, and I really appreciate the platform and the intentions are very honorable. Some really powerful folks trying to do good for us. So my question, I currently have between an ethanol plant or cassava powder starch, the funds huge to raise. My question is, what I was trying to get an understanding in exactly how that applies to what I'm doing, because I'm hearing a lot about government contracts. And so I just need to get a little clarity in reference to being able to raise funds and how does that look on this platform?
I can't answer that. I'm not the finance person. You all have more information in that arena than I do. I can't answer it. Philip,
The
are you able?
question as well, it's a good question. About Dr. Valerie, I appreciate the question. We will be having a conversation, I believe, tomorrow morning. I think scheduled for 10 your time, I believe is what I have responded to you. And we will support those two projects of yours. You have sent the proposals to me. I've seen them, and we intend to. I have Andrew Daniel on with us, our COO, and I don't know if he's in a position to speak, but I would like him to also say a few words to ventilate as to what we are about. He's the Chief Operating Officer, and it gives everyone a better, clearer vision of where we're going. There's a lot of moving parts here, Peter, and guess. And this is going to take more than just this meeting for us to be able to properly
Correct. Yes.
paint a picture. And I look forward to working with your other guest speakers, Melissa and Carolyn, and anyone else, for that matter of fact, who wants to bring some positive contribution to the table. Thank you.
Okay, was it Andrew? Gary, after I think we have Andrew. Did you want
Daniel.
Andrew?
Daniel, if he's available.
Daniel. Okay, Daniel. And then Gary. Doc has another comment, so I'm not going to stop you all.
No, what I was just gonna say again is just that I just lower my hand. We started out with just one asset, and because by nature of the structure is that each person that comes on board. So if a particular member has cassava or some other, asset, whatever it is, we will welcome the addition of new assets. And how we are holding the assets is we take in the first round when we just started was just a beneficial interest. So we don't even take any legal rights and interest. As people know in property, there's the beneficial interests and the legal rights and interests. So people who want to retain their legal rights is fine. What we were doing from the very start, in the beginning, is just looking at the beneficial assignment on a 25-year basis, in which we would be able to hold these rights, leverage, of course, and then we will pay what is called a notional rent for the use of the assets for 25 years. And that's the way we work. Now that we have these trusts that we have set up, we are the legal custodians of assets, again, on a 25-year basis. And the beneficiaries are all the persons that are the current owners of those lands. And again, on a period of 25 years. But once they come into our structure, they may have all sorts of assets, and it's a esoteric type of clients. Gold is the predominant resource, but we have assets, would it be in coal and copper, even uranium in one case. I mean, they're mines which have different resources. We welcome those. And once you are an asset holder or token holder, you have a voice. You have at least one vote that you have on our investment committee. And that's how, we can talk. We're not designed to sell an asset, but I give the analogy. It's like you have people who own fancy exotic cars. Carl and myself, we would have the cars, keep it in our garage, figuratively, metaphorically, and organize trade shows where we can, earn, an income from displaying the cars. They remain your cars. And, at the end of the term, you get your cars back. And so we are able to say, have the cars. We have a garage and we store them. That's a trust, that's a structure. And so during our trade shows, metaphor now, analogy, given the analogy, there may be people that say, hey, I like that nice blue sports car. I want to buy it. And so if people are inclined to sell an asset because we are displaying it to the world, we're global people, and my background is hedge funds naturally. So if we are showing these assets, then people come across and say, yeah, I like that. I really like that car. I'm going to buy it. So we're not selling assets, but in course of displaying and being able to generate income based on the assets we are keeping or custodying, then we can arrange, and it's possible because the length of people, we have billionaires, many industrial types, people who are having endowments and charities, people who really want to help the Indigenous, because we have people, it started out with people in New Zealand, they have a lot of assets, but there's a housing shortage. Some of them live in cars, some of them live in cow sheds, and it's travesty. It's really sad. So we're trying to help these people get into homes. So in the course of showing our cars, because I'm using the car analogy, and someone comes, hey, I like that car, so I'll buy it. And we go to the owner and say, hey, that person wants to buy the car. And so you may have this cassava field and production and say, okay, I want to sell it or lease it. And, that's a possibility. You're part of. So if you hold tokens, which I share the links, you can acquire. NTech is helping us to distribute. And the other way that I can get the message across, next month, I was invited to Cayman to go on TV because I'm writing a book too. I'm doing a third PhD. Sorry, I didn't go into my history and background, but yes, I'm a lawyer. Yes, I'm working late nights and it's almost 3 a.m. in Poland, but that's normal for me. By the age of 19, I was able to have my first 3 degrees. I'm working on degree number 9. I've been to 12 universities, even including Cornell and Fordham, Harvard, Oxford, postdoc. I've been to the Sorbonne in Paris. I've been to 12 universities. Here in Poland, about 4 in Poland. I live in Poland because my wife is Polish. Not a brag on my sort of rights, but it's who I am. I'm a chartered accountant too, British CPA, and I'm an attorney in about 7 different jurisdictions, including New York. And I have been setting up many structures. And what again led me to creating this own is to see the disparity. Imagine, and doing my research of myself and my history, my name, because when I said, McDonald, what are we having for lunch today? And I have 2 kids. And in Poland, there are lots of McDonald's. Oh, we're going to have burgers today. And they make fun because my kids are mixed race too, but then they make fun and say, you're McDonald. And I'm like, what is his name? And coming to realize that the name McDonald is an authentic name. I've met really old McDonald's. My oldest is in Trinidad and Grenada, 107 years old. The man, Da Costa McDonald. And I did the DNA test and it's confirmed. He's Scottish. He's a black man, 107. And I have a lot, the history, 5 years of research. So this research will help to offer with this economic platform. A TV show was granted, so I'll be on TV from next month. I don't like the limelight, but so be it. And that program is called GTR. It's a registered trademark in the UK, and Iberia is too. Iberia has been registered. And that program is called GTR, Genesis Timeline Roots, because we need to know who we are. We claim we want to be sovereign and we want to be autonomous. But the fact is that when you look at the millionaires and billionaires, we're not even 1%. Call in all the Oprahs and the Jordans and the people, we're 23 out of 3,100 billionaires, and not even 1% Black. And the millionaires, we have 57 million millionaires. And a lot of them, I live in Europe, a lot of them are European. They walk their poodles, they eat their croissants, they're traveling all over the place. 57 million millionaires. And how many Black? Not even 1%. So it is not only a travesty, it's evil what is taking place. So we talk about sovereignty, but how do we get, if we have millionaires and billionaires and we don't even come up to 1% as melanated people? I don't want to use the term Black. Some people think it's bad. Not me, but okay, melanated. We have a story. And if you look at the true history as I see it, humbly me, in all my years of learning, doing DNA research, the world is truly a Black melanated place just 250, 300 years ago. So going back to our roots, going back to who we are, global people, how did we get here? We need to figure that out. How do we get from where we were in the world to only being 1%? And we talk
It's
of
a reversal. It's a reversal, Doc. There's other people behind you, so I don't want you to go too far here.
Yeah, I'm sorry for hogging the conversation,
okay.
but much respect.
But,
I mean, I'm a practicing Hebrew too, and I'm trying my best. I know Dr. Springer is one too, and I am observing the Shabbat. But we have to figure out how we got to this place, because where it is, it's shockingly, we talk about all of our goals and ambitions, but we're actually living on the crumbs that used to be part of the table that we owned. And I'm not talking about Africa, I'm talking about the whole world, including Scotland and Europe, which is my home. I declare my home. But I also, Mother Africa, but also have homes Scotland as well.
We're going to bring him back, Peter, to go into all of that. But Gary has his hands up for some time now, Doc. So we're going to let Gary come in here. Please, Gary, go ahead. I'm also joined by my Chief of Staff, Dr. Wayne Severall, as well. So we'll hear from him as well. Go ahead, Gary, please.
Thank you, Philip. Peter, thanks so much. And
thank you.
Dr. McDonald. I was so when he said he had 9 degrees, I was like, I'm sold. So I'm good.
And he's only 50 years old.
I'm 50. I turned 50 this year.
Listen, I'm just impressed with the opportunity to create this financial ecosystem. That's where my focus is, and I think Peter understands that. For so many years, we have talked around it, but if there's a platform in place that has a structure to it, and we can begin to educate people and provide them with some opportunities on the capital side, I think you'll probably get more people who will jump on board with what's going on. And particularly if you're doing business abroad, at the United States, this communication stuff is very, very good. We need this. We need to understand what you're doing and what others are doing and how we can get connected. So I'm all in, Peter. I think Peter understands that.
Surely.
Pleasure meeting you. And I'm going to share with my friends here in the U.S., in North Carolina, and let's just keep it moving.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I saw Dr. Severall, was it? Yeah. Doc, is he, where is he?
He was here. I'm not sure if he's still with us, but he was here a few minutes ago. He'll come when he's available. Yes.
I logged on the website too, Peter. I looked at the website, and when you have Philip and Dr. McDonald, looks pretty impressive. I think I'm going to purchase a few tokens, I guess, as you stated. I think the cooperative piece is the best way to go.
Fantastic. Okay. Jason keeps dropping off for some reason. Is Dr.
Don't worry. Jason does that. He's probably delivering products.
So
he's in and out of his vehicle. You know what I love? I love the grassroots people. I love people like Jason. I'll tell you a personal story really quickly here. I lost a son late last year, around November. My 25-year-old. And Jason, that's how I met Jason. Jason called me when he heard about my son's disappearance. At that time, he called me and he said, "Can I be your son?" And I said, "You've just lost your child. You're kind of sensitive to it, but the way he did it was so sweet and admirable." He said, "I would like to be your son." And I kind of took Jason on as a son, but Jason's a hardworking young man, and he's doing his business. He's not a lawless person out there on the street. He hustles with his job and what he's doing, and I support these young people. He's a young man, but I support him because look, it's late in the evening. He's still out there delivering his products, his juices and stuff in his taxi. And that's the kind of grassroots we have to support, as well as the big businesses. We can talk about $400 billion and all of that. It took me 50 something years to be able to say that. At 20 something or 30 something, we have to get those young people used to 50,000, 100,000, $1 million. I was a millionaire at 24 years old in Canada. And that was a heck of an accomplishment, coming out of school and in my first couple of years making $1 million. You imagine if we can take 10, I would like to take 10 young people. I don't care where they come from, any part of the world, 10 young Black men and women, and mentor them. And within 3 years, if I could make them each a millionaire, then they can turn around and do 3 each themselves. Imagine what we could do. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to achieve, Peter. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate all that I've heard, and we're going to do it again. So if everyone is at peace, I do want to thank all of you. And because I have all of your emails, you will get a notice of our next meeting again. I want people to volunteer to come on our podcast and allow me to interview them for articles, because the stories that you all are telling are the stories that our people need to hear. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodnight to all, and I'm so grateful that everyone showed up. I think it's been wonderful. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, but thanks again, and have a good evening.
Peter, can I get a copy of the video
I'm going to post it on
your site? Okay.
I'm going to post it on YouTube, and I'm going to ask all of you to take it and have discussions with your networks.
Let me take a cheap shot here while I'm at it, since we've gone this far.
Sure, go ahead.
I believe in self-empowerment. And one of the things that I have preached and I have continually encouraged my people to do is to become self-empowered. Because of an experience I had with both Facebook and YouTube, seasoned over 1,000 videos of mine, which took me years to produce on my radio and television show. They seized it on the basis of that somehow it violated community standards by playing music But the music that I was playing was indigenous music that was written for my program, and yet they seized it under Warner Brothers and a couple of the others, claiming that they had the right to do so. They never returned my product. Because of that, my team was forced to go inside of themselves. We created Meetup One. Because of that, we created Chat 5, we created Carib Social, we created Clipbust. And we did that so that we are no longer under the yoke of these people. I can now broadcast if I want to for 10 hours and it doesn't affect because I own the platform. The point is, I want my people, and if we're going to go forward with this initiative, we must get away from the colonizer. I am not interested in Zoom. I did it tonight only out of courtesy to yourself, Peter. But I would be glad to have my people teach your people how to use our system so that we can have more of our people using what is this. We also pay for the services that a lot of our people are ignored. For instance, videos that you share on Clipbust, for instance, we pay you for those services. Those are ways that a lot of young people are also making some money working with us. Eventually, we'll get to the Twitters and all of that. But at this point, we have 8 platforms that we own 100% of, and they're growing. We are very, very popular on the continent. I did a very big broadcast for the last 2 days on the continent. I did a presentation for One Map Africa, yesterday, and that was a 2-day program that started from Saturday morning right through to last night, and 20-something presenters, Joseph Mumpunga, and the likes, Jose Santiago, myself, several of us. We are now actually going on a world tour, believe it or not. Just like rock stars do, we are actually now going on a world tour with the likes of Joseph Mumpunga and others. And we are going to be carrying the gospel according to Arikana. As we know, Dr. Arikana Chiamboy Kwao, our founder and chairman. And we intend to spread this gospel. We're going to fill out stadiums. This is so happening, folks.
Mhm.
Stay tuned and be blessed. Shalom, shalom.
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 Thanks, and this is just Act 1. We will continue. Again, thanks to all, and we revisit this. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.